Hi, everybody. My name is Julie Williams. Welcome to How to Start a Voiceover Career Without Losing Your Shirt. I'm doing this webinar because constantly on the Facebook group, Voiceover Insider Connect, we're getting newbies saying, how do I get started? And then we're hearing nightmare stories about people who spend thousands of dollars with this coach or this company and, got basically nothing of value out of it. And I've had people come to me in tears over things like that because their whole budget is gone. They spent $4,000 or whatever, and now their budget is gone and they really want to do voiceovers. So that's why we did this, to help you get into voiceovers without losing your shirt, to understand what to expect because you are starting a business, so that you know what kind of expenses to estimate for as you're getting started. Now I'll see how to get on here. My name is Julie Williams. I've got 40 plus years as a successful voiceover talent. We're not going to mention how many plus because it's getting kind of up there. 25 years of coaching successful talents of all levels, from newbies to pros. I've taught at the top conferences in the world, and I have been highly recommended by students and coaches alike. And I thank all of you students and coaches for those recommendations. This is my, I'm going to play for you, because we're kind of known by our demos in voiceovers. I'm going to play for you my video voiceover demo. So this is my commercial voiceover demo plus the video version of the voiceover demo.
Because I have to change her diaper.
Why can't she change it herself?
Because she's too little. Would you hand me that Pampers bag? It's not just a race. It's a full-fledged adventure. Diddy Kong Racing, only for Nintendo DS. I'm going to reveal a weird little secret that'll let you start speaking any language you want in just 10 short days. Once there was a ferocious dinosaur who caused a terrible flood. But that didn't bother the dinosaur's mother, because she had the quicker picker-upper. It's just what you'd expect from the nation's most reliable network.
Hey, how's it going?
The new AT&T, your world delivered. Feel like a cookie?
Do I look like one?
How did I know that was coming? But even icebound scientists get cravings. So they head to the Aurora Storealis, the southernmost convenience store in the world. No late fees ever. No penalty rate ever. Because there are plenty of other things to stress about.
Driver's license and registration, please.
Time with new vitamin C8 and exclusive DNA renewal complex. Now in an easy-to-pour bottle.
Now, I know that it's very, very frustrating at times for you guys to figure out, what am I going to do next? I want to get into voiceovers, and I have no idea how to get started. How do I further my career? And then sometimes you even, and I've seen people do this, and I encourage you not to do it, jump the gun and go start, putting together a studio and putting together a demo by yourself and doing all this stuff without knowing what you're doing. And I encourage you to get a good coach who's like I am a voiceover life coach, guiding everything from the studio to getting the agents to doing the demos to coaching performance to getting the branding. Wait off on the website and the branding and all of those other things until you get a good coach that can work with you. So you don't know what to do next to further your career or even how to get started, and that's what we're going to talk about today. Okay, in this webinar, we are going to discuss, is a voiceover career right for you, for one thing? We're going to discuss if it's right for you. We're going to talk a little bit about what it takes to succeed in voiceovers. We're going to have a little bit of advice on how to avoid predatory coaches. Discuss in a nutshell, coaches and demo producers, by the way, discuss in a nutshell how to start your business, sort of some marching orders for doing that. Look at some mistakes that newbies make, take a glance at a few budget items and how much, kind of an estimate of what you could expect to spend getting your stuff together to start a voiceover career. We're going to talk all about demos and hear several great demo samples. About 10 demos that I produced for all different people, men and women, political, medical, narration, commercial, all different levels. Do a little bit of performance coaching, skills that are proven to enhance your performance. 2 attendees will demonstrate. We'll get 1 man and 1 woman, and we'll just call your name and then we can go from there if you want to do it, if you're here even, because only half of the number of people who actually signed up are able to attend here live. And then we're also here several, we'll also do a little bit of, no, I'm sorry. Okay, I'm sorry, somebody just handed me a note here. We will do a little performance coaching. We talked about that. Explore free resources that are available to you. We're going to offer a promo code for you to save $25 on my Proven Techniques for Voiceover Success program. That's regularly $100, and it is hours of performance coaching of what I did live in Seattle about a year and a half ago. And then we'll have information about my coaching at the end. So let's start with, is a voiceover career right for you? Well, think about why you're asking that question. Why do you want to do voiceovers? Is it because everybody always told you you have a great voice? Everyone says you'd be good at it? Well, it takes a lot more than a great voice to do voiceovers. Voiceovers is about what you can do with your voice. It's about performance. It's about acting. So the fact that people say you have a great voice, I always tell people, they say, everyone says I have a great voice. I say, well, you know, we can probably overcome that because the great voice can actually get in your way. It can distract. I have an article that I send out to people called Keep the Spotlight on the Star. And it's like the Wizard of Oz. Pay no attention to the man behind the curtain. You see, if you're behind the curtain at the microphone, the star is the product, the service, whatever the client is paying to promote. That's the star. But if they're recognizing, if they are noticing your voice, then the attention is getting taken away from the star. And so sometimes having a great voice is not a good thing. And then some guys have like really, really deep voices, and I have to get them to soften it because they're not able to be storytellers and sound communicative, because a lot of times it sounds like they're shouting or they're yelling at somebody, you know, and so we have to work on that if you have too great a voice. Everybody says you'd be good at it. Well, consider the source. If your mother says you'd be good at it, or just someone at the grocery store, okay, do they know anything about voiceovers at all? If they know something about voiceovers, then yeah, pay attention to what they're saying. I mean, maybe this is good for you, but if not, take it with a grain of salt. You got to remember that it's so hard to get into and maintain a voiceover career. It is a lot of work. It's not just all fun. And there's a lot of rejection, and it takes a lot of money. You are starting a business. And if it's not something that you really love and want to do, you really should probably rethink if it's the right thing. You think you can make great money at it? Well, yeah, you can, but it's not a guarantee. And you're likely not to get rich at it. There are some people that do. This can be a good side income or even a full-time job, but there's no guarantee. So it's not a get-rich-quick scheme. Voiceover is not where you come to get rich quick. So if you've attended like a weekend workshop, or you've met somebody at like one of the large conferences or something, and then they tell you that, you know, hey, you can make great money. Anybody who's selling you dreams like that, run the other way. I mean, it is hard, and yes, you can make great money. And yes, you make good money by the hour. You can make hundreds an hour, but you don't work 40 hours a week at hundreds an hour. It's very few people that are in the seven figures. In fact, I believe it's not a whole lot of people that are in the six figures. So is it because you've always wanted to do voiceovers? Well, that is the best answer that you can give, because that means your heart is in it and you're following your dream, and you'll love doing it. And you've got to love what you do, especially with all the rejection and all of the time it takes, and the marketing and the financial investment. The time investment and the financial investment, both of those are significant. Do you want to do voiceovers because you've always done impressions, you've always done impersonations, you've done cartoon voices, you've done accents? Well, understand that impressions are not typically what you would be hired for. Stand-up comedy might be a good place for that. Impersonations, again, you know, somebody might want you to do Ronald Reagan, but for the most part, impersonations are not what you would be hired to do. So again, that would be good for stand-up comedy. Cartoon voices, okay, but are you doing, Daffy Duck and Porky Pig, or are you doing cartoon voices that you're making of your own? If you want to do cartoon voices, that is an area of voiceover, and we can refer you to a good coach for that. And then if you do like accents and dialects, that's another place that you can be used in voiceovers, in animation, and even in other kinds of voiceovers. And we can refer you to people for that. A lot of times I have found that, particularly in animation, the person that was the class clown in third grade or whatever usually is pretty good at the cartoon stuff. But if all you do is imitate other people, that's been done. They need someone who can create their own characters. And there are good coaches who can teach you that if that's what you want to do. You want to get into voiceover because you love audiobooks and you would like to narrate them? Awesome. We'll talk about how you can get into that. All you have to do is ask on the forum, Voiceover Insider Connect on Facebook, and we can give you some information there. We're not really going to touch on a whole lot on audiobooks here today. Okay, predatory coaches. Now, every coach has different policies. For example, some people would say a predatory coach is someone who wants payment in advance, but I always take payment in advance because I'm putting you on my schedule and I'm reserving the time for you. So I always do that. Now, some of the predatory coaches, not all, may hold like a weekend workshop and then produce your demo at the end of the weekend and tell you, go for it. Or they may record what you've done in the workshop and tell you that's a demo. Oh my gosh, what a mistake that would be. Ask about their program. They may have a program of X number of coaching classes, and then they produce your demos without caring if you're ready. I have had people ready for a demo, newbies ready for a demo, one lady one time in 3 sessions. And I've had others not ready for over 20 sessions. So if the coach is, I do most of my coaching in 5 or 10 second packages, 10 session packages. But if a coach is saying, 5 sessions and we do your demo, 10 sessions and we do your demo, we have a curriculum for this, that, and the other thing, and then you're ready. Everybody is ready at different times. Plus, when you're getting into voiceover coaching, they have to listen to what is it that you want to do. So they might have a curriculum, but if you want to be Daffy Duck and they want to teach you how to do a German accent, you're not in the right curriculum. So this coach, as you vet coaches, they need to be very flexible. They need to be able to individualize programs that work for you. Sometimes when it comes demo time, they have a person that didn't even coach you producing your demos. That means they don't know your strengths, they don't know your weaknesses, and they don't know your golden tools. Now, a golden tool, for me, you've got to be ready for the demo, and a golden tool is something that I made up, okay? What that means is when I'm working with somebody, it's honestly, it's not good enough to be a great talent anymore. You have to be a unique talent as well. And so the golden tools are the things that are going to show your uniqueness. They're not just showing how great a talent you are. And so if you're working with a coach and then you're passed off to some fabulous demo producer, but they don't even know your strengths, or maybe the person who writes the scripts doesn't know your strengths, they don't know that you have a great compassionate read or that you're really good at the anthem read or something like that, then they're not going to be able to really do you a good service. Hold on just a second. Okay. I need to do one thing really, really quickly. And I'm sorry to have to pause to do this. But I know I need to, in order to be able to get you on, to be able to talk, I'm sorry that I have to take a second in the middle of this webinar and go to manage attendees and upgrade Dawn to be a co-host. That should work. Do you want him to be a co-host? Yes, I do. And in doing that, hopefully he'll be able to do that. My apologies for interrupting what we were saying for this. So let me back up here. I don't want to get off track for what I'm trying to tell you. So anyway, they don't know your golden tools. You want to work with somebody that does. Even if it's a great producer, don't just go into a studio and direct yourself with your own scripts and have a producer produce your demo, because they will probably give you an incredibly pristine piece of audio that is worth nothing because they don't know the voiceover industry. See, I mean, they might even be award-winning producers. I work with a Grammy award-winning post-producer to do the demos, but I coach people through my demos. And so, you know, I know their strengths and weaknesses because I've worked with them, but this is not a sales pitch for me. They might have a bad online reputation. Go to the forums like Voiceover Insider Connect. Go to, well, you probably won't see much on the WOVO, World Voices Organization, WOVO, Facebook group. That's only for members anyway, but you can join it. It's an excellent organization. You might not see it there, but if you go to like some of the other professional voiceover Facebook groups online, you can search for them. Then people might be talking about the coaches they had, the demo producers they had. And also remember that even bad coaches can produce references. But no matter who you're going to work with, before you work with them, get a whole lot of references. And if they're going to produce demos, get a whole lot of, like, ask for a dozen copies of the demos they produced. And if they just have like a medley of different segments from demos they produced, that's not good enough, because what you need is to see how they structured the demo. You need to see from beginning to end how they made that talent shine and not sound like the same voice the whole time, the same sound the whole time. I typically provide about 8 references of talents of all levels, and I can provide a dozen or 2 dozen more for anybody. And then I also routinely send out, I think it's about 10 sample demos if people are asking about them. So let me see, is there anything else about predatory coaches and demo producers? You know how, you know, you think about it after you get off the telephone, you think about what you should have said. I might come back to something here that occurs to me later about, you know, finding the demo producers. Oh, this is the other one. Don't go to a large conference and hire someone to produce your demo before you even did coaching. And then don't get your demo done and then find a new coach. I mean, the time to do the coaching is before the demo. Like when somebody I work with has just finished a demo and they're coming with me, I'm just thinking, in 5 sessions, you are going to be a better talent than you are now. Why did you do the demo already? You know what I mean? Because there's nothing worse than handing somebody a demo and saying, here's my demo, but I'm really better than this. You know, it's a horrible feeling. Anyway, just a little bit of advice there. Okay, good coaches. Good coaches can provide you lots and lots of references. They can guide you through all aspects of your career, like I do as a voiceover life coach. They can help you get an agent, or I have helped people write the letters to solicit an agent. They can help you put your demo together. They can help you with your branding. They can help you with your website. They can help you with your technical. Now, I'm not saying that they can do it all. You want someone who's great at what they do and works with other people who are great at what they don't do. For example, I can give a little advice on technical, but I am not a tech person. So typically I send people to Larry Hudson if they want to kind of put their studio together. And if somebody wants to do branding, I will work with them a little bit on that, but I might send them to Celia Siegel, who's an incredible brander. In fact, FYI, we're about to have up right now at voiceoverinsider.com a new podcast that is probably going up tonight about branding with Celia Siegel, a free podcast, and we'll be doing a webinar with her in a couple of months. But so somebody like her would help, or I could help guide you for branding. And then we could also send you to somebody else who would be putting together your website. Because I don't do websites, but I can guide you to somebody. So, you know, you don't get like some corporate website put together that is no fun and doesn't reflect your sound, etc. Okay, a good coach will allow you to record your coaching sessions to review later. A lot of people don't let you do this. I guess they're afraid you're going to share their secret coaching techniques or something like that. The thing is, when you're coaching, when I'm coaching, I do so much. I throw you in the deep end, and I teach so much at one time. There is no way that you can get it all if you don't record it. And your homework every week is to listen back to our sessions at least one time and compare and review, because that's sometimes those light bulb moments don't come in the middle of your guitar lesson. They come the following Wednesday when you're, working on a little clip of music, and all of a sudden, bingo, you got it. And I love it when the light bulb moment happens just right then and there in the middle of a coaching session. But more often than not, it's going to happen between coaching sessions. So make sure that your coach will allow you to record your coaching sessions for your own personal use only to review later. Make sure they don't charge you for email correspondence. I just found out recently that there's a coach that actually does that. If you ask a question, you're charged for an email correspondence, which I was shocked by that. Anyway, most coaches, I would say, don't do that. But they do need to get back with you very quickly, too. Get someone who has a lot of experience in the area of their expertise. I don't do animation, but I'll send you to someone who does. I do e-learning and medical and a lot of long form and commercial audiobook, but if you wanted to do accents and dialects, I would send you to a different coach. The better coaches are typically individuals and not companies. They might have taught at the top conferences in the country, but that is not a guarantee, because there have been some pretty, in my opinion, not so good coaches teaching at some of the top conferences. Just because they're teaching there doesn't mean that they're good. So how do you find a good coach? You want to ask them all these questions, but also find somebody whose career you would like to emulate and ask them who coached them, or if they're a coach, work with him or her. And as you do, get to know the person a little bit and find out how they respond to you, because you need to have somebody that's going to treat you with respect and somebody who you can connect with. There are incredible talents that aren't good coaches because they're not gifted in teaching. And then there are incredible teachers who are mediocre talents, but they can actually coach pretty well. I mean, just look at, what is his name? Chris Carmichael was Lance Armstrong's coach, cycling coach. He didn't beat Lance in the Tour, but he was Lance's coach. See, he was a great coach. And sometimes great coaches coach people who are better than they are to be better than they were. So, and that's advice from Pat Fraley, by the way, another incredible coach, to find somebody whose career you would like to emulate and ask them who coached them. Okay, start by treating your business like it's any other business. Recognize that you are actually starting a business. I mean, do you have the capital to start a business right now? I mean, we're not asking you to go to 4 years of college, which costs what? $20,000 to $40,000 just for 4 years. That's exorbitant, and yet people do it all the time. And yet some people don't want to invest, a few $100s for coaching, a couple thousand for the demos, which is essential. You've got to do it right. If you're not going to do it right, don't do it, because you're just going to be shredding your money. Recognize you are starting an actual business, and then ask yourself if you have the capital to start right now, because seriously, undercapitalization, that is one of the primary reasons that businesses struggle and fail. If you can't afford the bread, don't buy a Subway franchise. That's what I always tell everybody, because it's true. I mean, you don't want to get into something that you can't continue. And if you do things halfway, let's say, because I don't want to say it the other way, if you do things halfway, you're just doing it halfway. The number one mistake I see newbies make, thinking they can get started on a shoestring. And if the shoestring is long enough, like really, 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 really long, they can. And there are ways to cut corners, but there are certain things that you should never cut corners on. And we'll talk about that in a second. Here's my 5-step nutshell plan for how to get your business started. And a lot of this is pretty much for any business. First, you want to get a product to sell. And that's your skill set, which would be getting good coaching. So you're going to get your performance coaching. That's your skill set that you're going to be selling. Prepare to be able to deliver it. So you're going to have your studio set up where you can deliver pristine audio upon request. You can get the auditions done in time. You can do the job as they hire you. And you know how to edit. And if you don't know about audio editing, we'll let me let you know about it. Just stay on my mailing list. And when Larry Hudson has his audio editing classes, there is a program called Audacity that's free. And he has a class in Audacity probably 3 times a year or so. It's a few $100s, and it's a 5-week class, and it's really worth it. I've taken that class before, and I've seen others take it who have started with no experience in editing to becoming a better editor than I am after 40 years in the industry. So get your studio set up so that you can actually do the job, okay? Prepare your free sample. Your demo is your free sample. This is not the place to skimp. You've got to pay a professional who is reputable to produce your demo. Preferably, this producer is your excellent coach who's familiar with your strengths and your weaknesses, who will custom select and or write scripts that showcase your niche, your reads, your strengths, your golden tools, particularly techniques that are in vogue at the time. Like, for example, over the past year, seems to be going maybe a little bit out right now, but over the past year, I've noticed that the anthem read, kind of a patriotic, and give you goosebumps type read, has been maybe 40 to 50% of every audition I've gotten for national spots has wanted that anthem read for kind of an image type commercial. And even you would do that in a lot of orientation videos, videos to the board of directors and stuff like that. So there are different things that are in vogue at different times. I don't know if you remember, there was in the 80s, I guess it was Lorenzo Music, Garfield. He was like the in voice. In the 90s, Terry Apple, she was the in voice. She had the really raspy sound. It was amazing. She was on 25 national commercials at one time. That's not as in now, but if you have the ability to turn on a raspy at will, then we definitely want that to be included in your demo to show variety and to show that if that's what they want, you can do it. So that's what you need from a professional demo producer. Of course, get lots of samples from the producer before hiring them, lots of references from the producers be hiring them. Ask me for my opinion. I'm here for you. I know the predators, some of them. I know the incompetents, some of them. And I know the stars, some of them. If I don't know them, it doesn't mean that they're predators. It doesn't mean they're incompetent. And it doesn't mean they're a star. It just means I don't know them. Okay, more of the nutshell plan. Set up your storefront. You're going to get your website together and your social media and start marketing yourself there. Then you're going to assemble your sales team, agents, pay to play, referrals, low-hanging fruit, which would be like, let's say you've got a brother-in-law who owns an ad agency, and they or a studio hire talent, or you have previous clients that you want to continue to market to. That would be the low-hanging fruit. So all of these things are things to keep in mind, and a good coach will guide you through every single step of the way. The biggest mistakes, some people come in expecting to be discovered in voiceover. Now, I was mentioning before, you have a good voice, and it's not about the voice. I have fingers, but I am not Liberace. Just having fingers doesn't make me Liberace. In fact, I will never be Liberace. No matter how good your voice is, that isn't enough. Even Liberace needed to have developed skills. He obviously had some natural talent he was born with. I mean, he was incredible, but even he had to take some lessons. Coming from a different industry and thinking you're automatically knowing how to succeed in this industry, which is different from that. For example, radio. A lot of people who work in radio, and I'm not panning them. I came from radio. I worked in radio for 40 years as well. And Bo Weaver came from radio. A lot of us came from radio, a radio background. But when you get into voiceover, you have to be able to adapt to this different industry, which voiceover is. You have to realize that if your instinct is to sound a certain way, like radio people are supposed to, and your voiceover coach says, no, that's not how you need to sound, believe them. Because most radio people fail as far as becoming full-time voiceover talents, making a full-time living, only because they refuse to have what Bo Weaver says, and I think it's a Buddhist saying, beginner's mind, refuse to approach it as a beginner. From a lot of the different areas, stage, camera, radio, you do develop a lot of skills that will be relevant for voiceover, that will help you, and different skills from on camera to radio to stage. But you've got to realize that you are in a different industry. Oh, and watch out for something else. A lot of people who worked in radio, radio is a really tough industry right now. And a lot of people who worked in radio, they voiced commercials for the radio station. And so they feel like they can do voiceover. And so they hang out a shingle to be voiceover coaches. And a lot of them don't realize that they really aren't competent in voiceover, just in radio. And so, these are people who don't mean to not be good coaches. They think they are, they just don't understand. But on the other hand, there are a lot of people with radio backgrounds that are good coaches. And then another big mistake is trying to reinvent the wheel. That means you get on and you decide, I want to go in voiceover, so I'm going to do a little bit of research online, and then I'm going to go buy all of this equipment, and I'm going to go, buy this $10,000 booth, and I'm going to buy this $2,000 microphone, and I'm going to set this together, and I'm going to sign up on the pay to plays, and I'm going to go produce my demo in my new studio all by myself. You try to reinvent the wheel without having guidance from someone who knows what they're doing. That's another huge mistake that people make, because, you can probably we'll talk money in a minute, you can probably get a good studio together for between $500 and $1,000. You don't have to reinvent the wheel. Now, I did just buy an $1,100 microphone because I was very excited to get it. But I've been doing voiceovers for a long time, and I just wanted to get that brand new Mojave MA200 microphone. So I did. But when you're first getting started, you don't even know if you're going to be making good money yet. So don't try to reinvent the wheel. Follow what your coach says. And don't try to coach yourself, because that's a big mistake. Okay, expenses to plan for. Training, which is performance coaching, and other coaching as well. Plan on spending $600 to $1,500. It could always be more, because you do need to have a good coach, and you do need to get yourself as a good level performer. But also realize that everybody is at an individual level. So these are just ballpark figures. But if you have a coach that's going to coach you for less than several $100s, run the other way. Because it's better to pay several hundred and have good coaching than shred $25 and get nothing out of it. So, find out what kind of background your coach has, even if they're working with a company. This particular coach you're going to work with, what kind of background do they have? What have they done? Listen to their demo. And then apportion a certain amount of money, $600 to $1,500. Maybe it'll only take you $600 for coaching before you're ready for a demo. But there's really no way to tell. It varies by person. Studio equipment. And this is assuming you already have a computer. I like working with a laptop because I can take it here and there. But assuming that you have a computer already, you can pay between, say, $500 and $1,000. And that would be for setting your space up, to eliminate all reflection, any echo and stuff in the room, to get your microphone together, to perhaps buy a DAW, digital audio workstation, which is the recording program that you record into. For example, Audacity is free. Audition is, they charge monthly for it now. It's a service online. You can't buy it anymore, but it used to be $300 or $400. I don't know how that works. Twisted Wave, a great program that is for Mac only, is about $80. And then there's Pro Tools, which is several $100s. So it just depends on what you want to do. The demos, you need one for each genre that you want to work in. You can't get a compilation demo together that has a commercial and an audiobook segment and Daffy Duck and an e-learning. That doesn't fly. That tells everybody that you have no experience and you don't know what you're doing. You need to have a demo for every single genre that you want to work in. And demos typically start at $1,700 and go up to $3,000 plus for each one. Now, I can't really say. I think that sometimes people are charging a lot more than they need to for demos. But well, that's neither here nor there. I won't get into anything like that. I don't like to see people overcharge. But anyway, look and see if the coach will give a discount for multiple demos. I do that. If you book them all at the same time, I'll charge, I think I have to look, but it's $1,700 and then $2,400 if you want two. So, I mean, it's like half price for the second one. Look for, plan for a web presence. And the money is just going to depend on who you have design it. Don't just go with a friend who will give you a great deal if they don't know anything about the voiceover industry. I know someone who just actually had a brother-in-law who owns a company, charged them $1,500 to put together a website that might be great if you're an accountant, but it's not good for voiceover. So you want somebody who knows the voiceover industry, and your coach can refer some people that can do that. I have one person that I send to now, and then you can also ask on some of the voiceover forums who was happy with their web designer, and then go to those websites and see. And then go to websites of other talents and see what kinds of, sorry about the dog, hey, stop it. See what kinds of websites they have and who you want to emulate. Then it comes to marketing. Marketing is going to be an ongoing expense. So you're going to market yourself at the beginning when you get your branding, and you need to be marketing yourself every single month. That's going to be part of your full-time job. So I really can't tell you what it's going to cost. The good news is it doesn't have to get done all at once. You can skip 1 month of marketing if you want to, but it's always best not to. And 1 month your marketing can just be as simple as sending out postcards. So that is kind of a figure it out as you go along. And how do you want to market? Do you want to do Facebook ads, or do you want to do videos? And those things, like doing a video, can be pretty cheap. Send out a newsletter. It's really just going to take you time unless you get a service like Constant Contact. And then, probably not more than $50 a month. It depends on how many clients or prospects you have in your list, what they charge for. And then a voiceover life coach to guide you through all this is absolutely priceless. It's what you need to do if you don't want to reinvent the wheel. Okay, we're going to work on some performance skills in a minute, but first let's talk about the demos. Okay, do you need a demo? Absolutely. You can't, I don't even think you can get on a pay-to-play without demos these days, but you can't get work without a demo. You've got to showcase what you can do. You can't get an agent without a demo. How many demos do you need? Well, if you only want to do audiobooks, you only need audiobook demos. Although in audiobooks, it's kind of different. You would make several different demos, one for, say, children's books, one fiction, one nonfiction, maybe one romance or business or whatever. A compilation demo, absolutely not. We had talked about that. How do you produce your demo? Don't. Headshot. You don't need a headshot. Some people use it for something, but you definitely don't want to put a headshot like up front and center on your website. You don't want to put it in your email signature. You don't want to put it in any way on any of your marketing because if they look at you and you don't look like the sound that they're looking for, even if you are that sound, you're perfect for it, then they won't give you a chance. Okay, you're not qualified, by the way, to produce your own demo, and we'll know, and the clients will know. So anyway, the other thing about a headshot is when you get on your website, I think I have graphics up there, but I think it's okay to put a headshot on your About Me page, because there you're just being the friendly person, not a posed shot, but just the friendly person who they want to hire. But on the front page, where I want your demos to be right front and center, don't have a headshot. Make them listen first and then see your face as a person. Why not produce your own demo? You don't know the industry standards. You don't have anybody to coach you when you produce your own demo. Professional demo producers know how to showcase your niche. They know about the golden tools like we were talking about, if they're the ones that have coached you. They basically know not only what the industry is looking for, but what is current in what the industry is looking for, what the current reads are. And, maybe the current trend is to have 30-second demos instead of a minute. Whatever it is that's the current trend, the professional demo producers, we have to keep up with all that. Industry professionals will know if you just threw the demo together at a radio station or in your studio, and just slapped music behind everything. They'll know. All right, so here's some sample demos for you. Results will vary just as training needs vary. I have people who are very, very new on here. These are a bunch of demos that I produce. These are great professional demos. People who are brand new and people who have been doing this for a very long time. Patrick is, and I don't see the play button, so I hope this is going to work right. Patrick is a newbie in the industry, and this is one of the demos I produced for him.
In many parts of the world, people drink untreated water.
This is Steven.
The consequences are staggering. Half the hospital beds in the developing world are taken up by people suffering from waterborne illnesses. Most people don't know how much they're charged in checking fees. Our customers do, because it's zero. A bank that puts you first. That's different. Capital One. Escape into a tropical adventure. Perfect for entertaining clients or just having a night out with the family.
I'll take the Planet Earth pasta.
Rainforest Cafe.
Cool.
Where else can you eat a volcano? For the second year running, Mazda has been named the lowest cost to own brand over 5 years by Kelley Blue Book. Introducing Marriott Rewards. Because the point of all those points is capturing all those exotic memories. Soak up some rays this summer at America's newest AAA ballpark. Visit El Paso.
That was actually Steven. Because I don't see the play buttons on here, I guess I'm going to have to feel around and hope I get it right. Steven was a total newbie when he came to me. He was working at a radio network as a producer, and the talent there said he would never make it. He couldn't do voiceover at all. Because the talent is in radio and has the radio mindset, doesn't realize voiceover is different. And so Steven comes out, and the first, right out of the chute, the first month he makes $1,800, and then the second month he makes another $800. The demo really showcases what a real person he is. Now let me see if I can get Patrick's.
Current ancillary test methods
No.
include P57 and immunohistochemistry, chromosome analysis, fluorescence in situ hybridization, ploidy determination by flow cytometry, and microsatellite genotyping by multiplex polymerase chain reaction amplification of short tandem repeats. Think of a crane at a construction site. It's an impressive piece of machinery. All the parts work together to move some very heavy objects. Your body, specifically your musculoskeletal system, is also an amazing machine. All the parts work just right to allow you to make big movements like lifting a heavy box and fine movements like writing a note on the box. When you think about public health, you might think of hospitals and sick people, but public health works behind the scenes to keep you, your family, and your community safe and well. Okay, we're going to put this mask over your face and ask you to count to 5, okay? Can you do that? Then you'll go to sleep, and when you wake up, your mummy will be with you. Partial hydatidiform mole typically shows more focal trophoblastic proliferation and evidence of an embryo, including microvasculature in both CHM and PHM. There is an excess of paternally derived DNA, which results in overgrowth of the trophoblastic cells.
So that's Jen's medical demo. She was a total newbie. It's been a couple of years. She got 30 jobs in her first year. She gets lots of work in both Australia and the US. She's Australian. And you'll notice a lot of the pronunciations were off, but because she is Australian, we of course opted to have the pronunciations the way they would do it in Australia because of her accent. Her personality really comes through. She's very unique, not just in her accent, but with the little laugh she has there. So now this is sort of a fly by the seat of your pants thing we're doing here. I'm going to come up here and see if I can get a Patrick demo, but it might be somebody else. I'm just hoping that I can play each of these people, but we'll see what happens.
Today, Shell is countries around the world. And as the world's most abundant source of energy, it could provide us with cleaner energy for the next 230 years. In this module, we'll talk about the benefits of the Levin credit card, how to offer the card to your customers while being compliant with regulations, the special financing options available, and how to process applications and transactions. This session will take about 45 minutes. We have a lot to cover, so let's get started. This 2-in-1 soccer trainer net lets a player spend more time perfecting his or her game and less time retrieving balls. A ball is kicked in the red area as shown and rebounds with spin and height, requiring the player to trap and control the ball before taking the next kick. Like the iPhone, Google's self-driving machine will change everything, resetting our expectations for what a computer can be. An intelligent driverless car infrastructure could enable resilient and robust transportation systems that could ameliorate chaotic urban traffic. When we deviate from the standard and don't think end to end, we create costly delays and a whole lot of frustration.
Okay, so that was Paul, and Paul is an acting instructor and a theater actor, a stage actor who is a seasoned actor. I easily got him a Los Angeles agent. I do what I can with my students to help them with different things, maybe refer them to a client, maybe refer them to an agent, maybe help them with marketing something. You know, I can't do everything for everybody, but I do what I can to help in any way. Okay, Jean is a working New York talent who I refresher coach usually about once a year. I find that I usually recommend people come back after they work with me every year for 1 or 2 sessions just as a refresher. And I find that the newbies don't, and yet the talents who've been doing this for years, they always do. So let's see if we can get Jean's demo up here.
Progressive encephalomyelitis with rigidity and myoclonus is characterized by rigidity, hyperexplexia, and brainstem signs. Glycine receptor alpha-1 antibodies have been described in patients with progressive encephalomyelitis with rigidity and myoclonus. Here's an example. A 14-month-old child developed startle-induced episodes with generalized rigidity and myoclonus, axial hyperextension, and trismus. Of all the paradoxes in the world, surely one of the most absurd is that the very same genome that gives us life inevitably also takes it away. Even when they aren't killing us, our genes are generally making existence more difficult than seems absolutely necessary. Clustered acetylcholine receptor antibodies have been detected in a proportion of patients with previously seronegative generalized myasthenia gravis, but their presence in patients with ocular myasthenia gravis and their pathogenicity in vivo are unknown. As faculty, we become experts at intervening with residents who have difficulty with clinical competence. One-on-one methods such as immediate feedback, modeling correct behavior, role-playing, or even video review can be highly effective and quickly help the doctors with clinical competence issues. The purpose of our study, outcomes after treatment of advanced oropharyngeal carcinoma with radiation or chemoradiation, was to report survival and longitudinal functional outcomes in advanced stage cancers of the oropharynx. The standard clinical functional outcomes protocol followed Karnofsky Performance Status and Eastern Cooperative Oncology Group procedures. Linda has many options from this page. She can elect to enroll in health insurance, add a dependent, or search for additional resources in her area.
Now we're going to listen to Karen in a minute. Actually, I have a video of Karen's demo, like we did my video voiceover demo earlier. So let's move down to Tim, hopefully. He came to me as a newbie, and this is his narration demo.
Watch the way he swings. Did you see how he followed through? Here, those ganglia are shown much farther from the spinal cord. From each of those ganglia, postganglionic axons extend to the various organs. Take just a moment to think about it. Glorious sunshine on your shoulders, blissfully warm water, a sunset sailboat cruise with cocktails and appetizers. But if you're trying to catch up a little after a particularly sleep-deprived night with the baby, a 90-minute nap is better because it'll get you through an entire sleep cycle. Today, new light has been shed on the breast cancer battlefield, illuminating the exact biological path that leads to tumors. It's a cancer-stopping breakthrough discovered at the University of Michigan. with tremendous promise for millions of men and women everywhere. For patients requiring dialysis, anemia is a ubiquitous problem, a consequence of the inability to stimulate endogenous erythropoietin production, which principally occurs in the kidneys. Every space has a presence, a distinct voice that comes from within, that sets it apart and makes it wholly memorable. It's a single element that lends a classic timelessness that never quite seems to age it. In the end, the true value of a home is what the buyer is willing to pay for it. But by narrowing the price range, you can actually widen your prospects when you do decide to sell.
This next one, who hopefully will get in, is Karen. Now, Karen had a different situation. She wasn't looking just to do voiceovers. She came to me because she wanted to do political voiceovers. Her family is very politically active. They're in the DC area. They are very good friends with Jeb Hensarling and other people high up in the Republican Party. And so she wanted to do political voiceovers for the Republican Party. And so that's what this demo is targeted for, if I can play it. Let's see.
The name Jeb Hensarling has become synonymous with fiscal responsibility.
You cannot improve the health care of a nation by bankrupting its children.
It's time to listen to the voice of reason. Tom McCarthy says he served our country. Really? Go to truthabouttom.com for the whole story. Within months of being elected to the Arizona legislature, Kimberly Yee sponsored a bill to require ultrasounds before abortions. Yee knows how to get things done. Jan Brewer, Strength for Arizona. Paid for by the committee to re-elect Jan Brewer. As a businessman, two-time city councilman, and graduate of Roseville High School, Rocky Rock Home is what Roseville needs in the mayor's office. Isn't it time for fiscal responsibility? Ron Paul has a plan for getting us out of this financial mess.
The government cannot close its enormous fiscal gap by simply taxing the rich.
Ron Paul, let's make America great again.
Okay, so those are a lot of the voiceover demos I've done, and here's the next voiceover
Kraft
demo.
Natural Cheese starts with fresh milk.
That is not
We
what I meant
use
to
over
do.
a half a gallon of milk on each pound of cheese because we know it takes something amazing
This
to
is
make
Glenn,
something amazing.
who didn't play
At the
before.
head of the automotive class, the 2017 Mazda CX-5. With Mazda's legendary Sky-Active technology, this CUV isn't just designed to drive, it's engineered to perform.
Hi, Marcia. It's Roger. Wait, before you hang up, just hear me out. I'm really sorry about last night. Susan doesn't mean anything to me. Trust me, I'd never taken her out if I'd known you were going to see us at that restaurant. And I swear on my Aunt Mabel's grave that if I'd known she was your sister...
When you see this, it means great savings. When you see this, it means even greater savings. This weekend at all Solo Serve discount stores. On this spot, Brian found out that surfing the crowd was better than surfing the net on your perfect vacation spot in Minnesota. And a dozen organic large brown eggs are only $4.99 at Publix, where shopping is a pleasure.
So that kind of came out of the blue because I was clicking at the bottom to go to the next page. So maybe we'll actually hear Patrick, who didn't come up, if we click again. Let's see what happens.
As you set down your coffee, the cooktop recognizes your mug
That's
and
Patrick.
intelligently brings it back to your desired drinking temperature. The backsplash display is customized to your morning routine, so you can see today's to-do list, check the weather, and keep an eye on the baby with a live feed from the baby monitor. Most RNA molecules transcribed from the DNA belong to one of three classes. Transfer RNAs and ribosomal RNAs have essential functions in the mechanism of protein synthesis, but only messenger RNAs transmit information about the amino acid sequence of proteins from the nucleus to the cytoplasm. You may think saliva is only good for sealing envelopes, but it actually does much more. For starters, it contains calcium and phosphate, which are the building blocks of teeth. And it's always working hard to keep the enamel strong and healthy. Our time today will be spent examining the different parts of the document. Click here to download a copy. You'll want to have the document in front of you and accessible as we progress through the course.
Okay, that was Patrick, who is a newbie. We just did 4 demos for him. And he's just awesome. I mean, it took a little bit of coaching, but it's awesome. And now let's go on and hope we get to the next slide without hearing somebody else's demo. Oh, here we go. Excellent. And this is Karen who is just an incredible talent. I didn't have to work with her for very long. She's a seasoned talent, has done a lot of work. In fact, the National Prune Juice ad that you're going to see in this, you might have seen on TV, is one that did air nationally. So this is Karen.
Canopy Egyptian cotton sheets are designed to get softer every time you wash them, which makes your bed easier to sleep in and that much harder to leave. Why do people count on Sunsweet prune juice to stay fit on the inside?
It's made only from prunes, nothing else.
It works. Simple as that. It's a natural source of fiber and 5 essential vitamins. It's the smart choice for me. Stay fit on the inside with Sunsweet's amazing juices. Healthy looking skin today, clearer skin tomorrow. Look at your palm and imagine it filled with soup. Ooh, that's hot. Ooh, let's try a salad. Dentine Ice gets you to parties fashionably fresh. Roasted, baked, lightly sauteed, or even still alive. Turkey gobbles frantically. Just remember, eat healthy and exercise. Or buy bigger undies. Your choice. The University of Nebraska Medical Center. Breakthroughs for life. For some, it means lying on a tropical beach. For others, it's family time at a thrilling theme park destination. It's people like you that enable Shriners Hospital for Children to provide their world-class care.
Okay, so that's Karen. And that's another one of the video voiceover demos, which is a service that I just started adding. She's the first one that I've done it for after myself. So when I produce somebody's demo for $400 more, they can get a video demo of it as well. Okay, now we're going to work on a script here. So let's go ahead and see, Dawn, Steve Walden, are you there? And if you are, can you raise your hand? Nobody else raise your hand, just Steve, raise your hand. And then Dawn, if you can see where Steve is, or if he's even there, I think they alphabetize the names of the attendees on here.
I don't see him on here. Steve Towell's on here.
Okay, I'm going down a list of people that have been randomly chosen that are on my list here. And the reason that I'm doing that is we wanted to randomly choose people that less than half of the people who signed up are able to attend live. So we have several different people. We're only going to have one guy. And so the next guy is Tom Maley. Is Tom here?
No.
Okay, what about Kevin Bork, B-O-R-K?
I don't see him either.
We're batting 1,000 here, aren't we? Okay, Charles Leonard.
No Charles.
Rick Stowe.
Nope, no Rick.
Okay, so if you're a guy and you would like to read, raise your hand. And what I want is someone who would like to read and has your sheet protectors and your scripts printed out, okay? And then Dawn, I want you to randomly choose somebody, okay? Of all the people, raise your hand if you have your sheet protectors and your dry erase markers and your script printed out and you'd like to be on camera and read for us.
Okay, we got Trey Davies and John Sarna.
Okay, who did it first? You want to start with Trey? We were only going to do one guy, but we can do two.
Do you want him on camera too?
Yes, if that's okay. So Trey, we'll start with you. And then we'll go to, who was the other one? Was going to be John.
Promote to panelist, John.
So get John on second. And then right now, while we're getting ready to do this, we may as well get the female. So is Amber Aviles with us? Aviles? I'm not sure how to say it.
Let me look. What was the first name?
Amber, like the color?
Nope, no Amber.
Kelly Maroney.
Nope, no Kelly.
Sue Billich. We're getting the romper room thing on again. We're recalling the numbers out. I'll be with you in just a second. Okay, Trey, we'll have you read. Or actually, that's Trey. Is that how you say it? Is it Trey or Tree?
Trey.
Okay.
We have Sue Parker, but no. Or so, what was the other Susan?
Sue Billich, B-I-L-I-C-H.
No, we have Sue Parker and Sue Chevron. Sorry, Sue, if I didn't pronounce that right.
Okay, both of the Sues. Does one of you want to read and you have everything you need? You've got your script and the dry erase marker and the plastic sheet protectors? Then just raise your hand and Dawn can choose one. Actually, we can go with both of the Sues if you'd like to.
Neither one have raised their hand.
Christine Cochran.
I got Lynn. Lynn.
Okay. Lynn, I think that, it was in the cards for you to read tonight.
Okay, so I'll promote her.
Yeah, stand by, Lynn. Now, we don't want them on yet.
Okay.
We want you guys to stay muted for now, except for Trey, because he'll be the first one. And then one more female.
I don't have anybody else raising their hand, just Lynn so far.
Okay, well, that's fine. We don't have to have two females. I was going to do only just one of each. So let's go ahead and go with this. So Trey, let me see. I don't want to. All right, I've got you on camera, and go ahead and talk. Let me know that you're there.
All right, I'm here. Can you hear me?
Okay, so what I want to do is start with the script we have, the Tennessee Pride Country Sausage. Now, how much experience do you have, Trey?
Experience?
This was a beginner webinar. I understand it was not much.
Yeah, not much at all.
Okay, so one of the things I want to teach through this webinar is marking up copy, which is why we have the sheet protectors and the dry erase markers. Okay, so there is a technique called coloring words. And that means you make a word sound like what it means. For example, all day long, I colored the word all. I'll just take a tiny piece of cheesecake. I colored that word, tiny. It was a long day. I colored the word long. I made you feel what I was saying. It's what they call onomatopoeia. It's coloring words, okay?
Okay.
So I'm sure you've looked over this script, right?
Yes.
So let's go through the first paragraph, and I want you to circle with your dry erase marker every word on there that you would like to color. And you guys in the audience can do that as well. What would you color if you were doing it live? And then I'll go back and I'll critique and tell you what I think you should have colored. By the way, a tip when it comes to marking up your scripts, it's really best not to underline anything, because a lot of people tend to punch the word, get louder on the word to emphasize it when it's underlined. So I always recommend that you don't underline it. And also, this script here, somebody underlined nose and ears. This script comes from way back when we used to actually go into studios to do auditions live, and there would be a stack of scripts there, and the talents waiting to go in and do their chance to audition, and they would pick it up, and then somebody in that marked it up. Okay, well, you never know if they're good or not. So I'm not saying you shouldn't emphasize those. I'm saying don't follow their notes. Follow the notes that you're going to make with your dry erase pen based on what you think is the right thing to do. So actually, go ahead, Trey, and all of you, Trey rather, and all of you, go ahead and mark all the way through the entire script. Do the second paragraph as well. And then when you're done with circling the words you want to color, that isn't words you want to punch. It's words that you can make the script come alive with. Okay? And I want you all to be doing that with this.
Hey, Julie.
Yeah.
Could you go, maybe we have some really, really brand new people. Could you describe what the difference is with punch? What punch means, rather?
Punching would be getting louder or emphasizing. If you and I are talking, we're sitting at dinner, and you start talking to me, and you start getting louder, I'm going to back up. But you start getting softer, then I'm going to move forward, and I'm going to pay more attention more intently to what you're saying. So if you're going to change your volume, err on the side of getting a little softer, not louder. Because some people would say there's something special about the way they say good morning in Tennessee. When they're punching special because they know that's what needs to be emphasized. But you don't want to emphasize it in that way. You want to color it in that way. There's something special about the way they say good morning in Tennessee. You see what I'm saying? You want to make them feel what you're saying instead of just banging on the words as you go past them. And when you taste Tennessee pride, you can taste the creeks and the clear rain that watered the sage. You're not being conversational when you do that. Okay, Trey, the next thing I want you to do is you can go ahead and underline the words you want to emphasize, but don't punch them like that. Just say them normally, okay? So go through this first paragraph, and I want you to underline the words that you haven't colored but that you do want to emphasize because they're important, but they're not necessarily the colorful words. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So everybody go ahead and do that with at least this first paragraph. In fact, you can do it all the way through because we're going to have the second guy read the second paragraph. And that will be John. When you're up, John Sarna, you'll be reading the second paragraph. Then another technique is going to be to put slashes when you're going to pause, like between the ends of certain thoughts. So Trey and John and everybody else, when you're through marking the words that you're going to emphasize in another way besides coloring words, go ahead and put little slashes in. And then, I mean, there are like 40 different techniques that I teach, but we'll just do one more here. In just a second, I want to give you time to get this done. Okay, the last one I want to work on is phrasing. Now, one of the mistakes that most talents actually make is they take a sentence and they start at the capital letter and they go all the way to the period. They just read the whole sentence till it's done. That's kind of like wolfing down a meal instead of savoring it as you go. It's not about rushing through to finish the spot. It's about making the spot come alive so that you're telling the story of the message that the client wants told. The whole reason that they're paying you is to bring this message alive and communicate it. And so if you do that, it's not going to do that. So phrasing would be like pausing, like, well, we're not locked into their punctuation, okay? So, for example, there's something special about the way they say good morning in Tennessee. I stop at special. You might not. I'm not trying to make a mini-me here. I'm trying to make a Trey and a John and a Lynn, okay? Trying to make you guys the best you can be, not to become Julie. But then you would go like, a lot of days, it starts with your nose. Instead of a lot of days, it starts with your nose. You don't want to just, you want to have your phrasing in there, especially when you're doing tough narrations and medical narrations. You've got to give their brains time to kind of take in what you're saying. And then there would be a pause, like by the time you've made it to the kitchen, your whole body, you see what I'm saying? So put the slashes in where you want to have your pauses there for the phrasing. And then whenever you're ready, Trey, we'll have you go ahead and do a read through of the first paragraph.
All right, I think I'm about ready.
Okay, go for it.
There's something special about the way they say good morning in Tennessee. A lot of days, it starts with your nose, followed by your ears. And by the time you've made it to the kitchen, your whole body's been kind of gently shaken awake by dew and birds and the smell of Tennessee Pride country sausage.
Okay, good. Now tell me, which words did you color? What words did you circle to color?
Special.
Good job there.
Dew and birds.
Okay, I didn't hear you color those. I heard you say dew and birds. I didn't hear color on that.
Yeah, maybe it was more like a pause.
Right. And that was good to pause there. I would pause there as well. But a couple of other things I think that could have been colored is whole body. Your whole body's been kind of, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And then gently. Your whole body's been kind of gently shaken awake by dew and birds and the smell of Tennessee Pride country sausage. Let me savor the smell. You want it to sound like aroma. Remember the cartoons where they would be following an aroma, and the cartoon is like, the cartoon characters floating away and following an aroma, right?
Yeah.
Anyway, so that would be the kind of the smell of Tennessee Pride country sausage. Okay. So another thing I want you to do is not put periods. Yeah, well, let's do this first. Let's go on coloring words. I want you to color your whole body. Just color whole by saying your whole body.
Yeah, I got that colored.
Okay, just do that phrase for me.
Just whole body?
Yeah.
Whole body.
Yeah, your whole body. Let me feel whole.
Your whole body.
Okay, your whole body's been kind of, now your whole body's been kind of gently shaken awake. And let me feel the color on whole and gently.
Okay. Your whole body has been kind of gently shaken awake. Wait, I'm sorry, did you say awake?
Gently shaken awake. Yeah, just end there.
Okay.
Okay.
Your
All right. And now I want you to say, and the smell of Tennessee Fried Country Sausage. So let me hear you color the word smell.
And the smell of Tennessee Fried Country Sausage.
Very good coloring right there. Now, another technique, and good pausing throughout the way as well. Another technique that I want you to do is when you have the pauses, like you did after do and birds, don't always put a period after them. With your phrasing, I want to hear ellipses, you know, the dot, dot, dot. I don't want to hear it sound like and do and birds and the smell of coffee. You see what I mean? So
Yeah.
it would sound more like gently shaken awake by dew and birds and the smell of Tennessee Fried Country Sausage. See, I didn't make a period after dew, and I didn't make a period after birds. I kind of flowed through it and let them know I wasn't done with the sentence. The sentence isn't, they're gently shaken awake by dew, right?
Yeah.
By dew and birds, there's the list there, and the smell of Tennessee Fried Country Sausage. Okay, so I'm going to have you, we've gone over the techniques of coloring words, of where you want to emphasize, and of your phrasing. And so with the ellipses as part of the phrasing, I want you to go ahead and take that first paragraph from the top and do all of these.
All right. There's something special about the way they say good morning in Tennessee. A lot of days, it starts with your nose, followed by your ears. And by the time you've made it to the kitchen, your whole body's been kind of gently shaken awake by dew and birds and the smell of Tennessee Fried Country Sausage.
Okay, you kind of punched smell there. And the smell, I don't lust after the coffee if you say, and the smell of coffee, and the smell of coffee. Okay? And the smell of Tennessee Fried Country Sausage. You want my mouth to water. Okay? And then here you also said by dew and birds. You kind of put a period there, and we need more ellipses. I'm not going to have you read it again, but when you are going to get a copy of this video, everybody is, and when you get a copy of the video, watch it back and look at this, look at what you've done as you see the script, and the way I had done it and you had done it, because I find that with my students, when we record the sessions, it's a lot of times on the playback of the session, on reviewing it, that you really learn and you really grow. And that goes for all of you. I mean, you can grow by what Trey just did here, right? Okay, the other thing is you said followed by your ears. Don't pause after followed. Starts with your nose, followed by your ears. And by the time you've made it to the kitchen, you see what I mean?
Yeah.
Okay, very, very good job, Trey. And thank you for being brave enough to go ahead and come on here. Now, I'm told that, John, you want to explain? I have a note here that John doesn't have a microphone.
Yeah, he's having an issue. We're trying to figure out something, but I don't think he has anything available.
Okay, so let me move back. I'm going to, why don't you go ahead and put Trey back down to attendee? I don't see how to do that right here, and I know that you have the ability to do that.
All right. Thanks, Trey. Good job.
Yeah.
I can't get back up to that other script. This is not happening. This is not a good thing. My computer, that wheel of death. Okay, so John, let me see if I unmute you. Can you talk? Yeah, so John, you're going to have to demote him down too.
Okay.
Why is this not happening? Okay, well, you guys have the scripts in front of you. You printed out the script. Well, maybe it'll go. No.
Okay, well, are we going to go with the females now, or the ladies?
Sure. Let's move on to Lynn.
Okay, we got Lynn coming in.
Okay, so let's go ahead on to Lynn. And then hopefully we can get this. I'm afraid if I click on the screen one more time while it's got the wheel of what going on, I'm afraid that it's going to go on to another screen And so let's just go ahead and leave the screen here, and you have the scripts in front of you from what we sent. And, you know, so you can see them in front of you. And for people who watch this later, you know, they're not going to have it on the screen, I suppose.
There she is.
We see the top part of your head. Tilt the camera down so we can actually see your smile as well.
I'm not sure how I do that. Sorry.
Are you on a laptop, Lynn?
No, I'm not. I'm on a desktop.
Okay, do you have a webcam?
Swivel.
Do you have a webcam on the top of your monitor, maybe?
Good question. Yeah. How to get there, though.
So tilt the webcam up a little bit.
It's, yeah, it's part of the,
Oh, it's part of your monitor.
it's part of my monitor.
How about raising your seat a little bit? Is that a possibility?
You know what? I'll just stand.
No, you don't have to.
No, you don't need to.
It's okay. We'll just look at your eyes on the top of your head while you do this. You'll be like that guy on what was it, Home Improvement, the neighbor who you never actually see.
Yeah. Bless him, he did pass away. Yeah. Oh, wait. Hang on. It says start my video. I'll try that. Oops. Yes, Wilson. Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Yeah, I just sent you a request to start the video, so you're good. You're good.
Okay. I'm not seeing anybody now.
All right. You're not seeing anything on your screen? You're not seeing, what are you seeing on your screen?
Oh, I see you now. I couldn't see you, but now I see you. I see free resources available.
Unfortunately. I don't know if you see it because you see my, you see what I put on the screen, but
Right.
I have that Mac wheel of, you know, oh my gosh, you know, I have that wheel on. So.
Oh, that sucks.
I can't back up to the script. Don't you? Actually, I do love technology. It just isn't good when it goes wrong. So anyway, okay. So what I want you to do is I want you to go. Did you mark things up like we had talked about when I was working with Trey?
Yes, I did.
Okay, good. So I want you to read for me the second half.
Okay.
Okay. Actually, start with the sentence before. Start with, and the smell of Tennessee Pride Country sausage, and color smell, and then go into the rest.
Okay. And the smell of Tennessee Pride Country sausage. And when you taste Tennessee Pride, you can taste the creeks and the clear rain that watered the sage they use in the sausage, and the blend of all natural spices that's been a family secret for 3 generations. You can taste the smiles of kids and the rolling fog through the Smokies. You can taste the music and endless summer days. And some say you can even taste the sunrise. Tennessee Pride Country sausage.
Very well done. Which words did you have that you colored?
Well,
which ones did you circle?
The one, well, water the sage. Sorry, I'll go back. Tennessee Pride.
Okay, you don't want to circle Tennessee Pride because you're not going to make me feel what you're saying with the word Tennessee Pride. That's just the client.
Gotcha. Okay.
So
yeah.
The like the smell is something, the smell, I can feel
yeah.
what you're saying. Tennessee
I did
Pride,
have that colored.
Okay, so that's an emphasis, not a color. So
well, I'm talking about the word smell. Sorry.
Right. So smell, yeah. And then what other words? Because there are some that I got you. I just want to know that they're the same ones.
Yeah. Creeks.
Oh, that's interesting. I didn't get a color there. It sounded good, but I got color on clear. You made it sound very clear.
Yeah, and the clear was also one of them. Clear yeah. Rain.
Is not something that you can make me feel what you're saying. When you say the word creeks, I don't know of a way that you can say the word creeks that makes me feel like it's a creek. You know what I mean?
Okay, yeah.
So
yeah.
It's often adjectives, but there are exceptions. So clear, very good doing that one. What's the next one?
Watered the sage, but it was more of emphasis rather than a color.
And that's good because all of this is about emphasis, and color is one way that we emphasize particular things to give the message and share the story. Mm-hmm. So what's the next one?
All natural spices. No, sorry, blend.
Blend is a good one. Very
Mhm.
good. Okay.
Um,
One more in that sentence that is one that you might not think about, but there's one other thing you can color at towards, at the end of that sentence after blend.
well, I did Family Secret, which is kind of highlighted anyway, and for 3 generations.
That's right. Very, very good that you picked up on that. Most people don't.
Oh,
3, if I
cool.
were to color the word 3, you'd be like, I don't know how to color the word 3.
Mm-hmm.
So sometimes you're coloring not a word, but a concept. Like 3 generations is a long time. And you color that as 3 generations. You let me know that it's been going on for a long time. So that was. I also heard you color rolling fog through the Smokies.
Yep.
And endless summer days.
Yes.
Excellent on that too. I liked what you did with notes in your song. You weren't at all monotone. And some say you can even, and you can taste the music. And some say very, very good at bringing it alive by having different notes in your song, not being monotone at all.
Cool.
Now, inflection is a little different.
Yeah.
Inflection, and most of these places you had good inflection, but there are a couple of rules of inflection that you kind of broke there, Lynn.
Okay.
For example, when you're inflection is about contrasts. Okay, it's about what's new. For example, there goes a blue car. I'm emphasizing car. Okay, the next one comes along. I don't say there goes a red car. I say there goes a red car, because red is what's different. We already know that it's a car. What's different is that it's red, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So when we already know what we're talking about and we've established what we're talking about, we don't need to mention it again, even if it's the name of the client. Now, I know some people teach, and they teach this in radio for sure, always emphasize the name of the client over and over and over. Well, you're not conversational if you always emphasize the name of the client, right? So, for example, Tennessee Pride Country Sausage, that was established at the end of the first paragraph. And the smell of Tennessee Pride Country Sausage. Okay, so we don't need to mention, we do need to mention, but we don't need to emphasize Tennessee Pride at all ever again.
Fair enough.
Now what we're going to talk about is what about Tennessee Pride is it that we're saying, right? So we're going to do a contrast here. So what would you call, when you go for, and the smell of Tennessee Pride Country Sausage, and when you taste Tennessee Pride, what would you see the contrast as in those segments right there?
Well, smell is the important thing. And when you taste Tennessee Pride, for me, pride is important.
Tennessee Pride is the name. You've already established Tennessee Pride.
Okay.
Emphasize that again. We already established an entity. You can put quotes around it. The product is Tennessee Pride Country Sausage, and we've already established that. We just said it, so that's not what what's important. That's a throwaway. You can put an X over that. You have to say it, but you don't emphasize it. But taste is the contrast.
Gotcha.
First, we mentioned Tennessee Pride, and now we're going to contrast the smell of it with the taste of it.
Taste.
So it was by dew and birds and the smell of Tennessee Pride Country Sausage. And when you taste Tennessee Pride, you see I threw away Tennessee.
Yes.
Taste is
I get it. I was reading it totally different, and that's my mistake.
No, we all make mistakes. This is why we're here to learn, right?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Let's see. And then one of the things that you've done is you put in some pauses, and this is the last thing. I'm not going to make you read it again. This is the last thing that I'll critique you with, and then we'll move on, is that there are many places where you stopped in the middle of a sentence or a phrase that you shouldn't. When you have what I call an entity, which is, for example, the name of a product, or an it, if you want to call it. The entity could be a place. I used to work for the University of Florida Institute of Food and Agricultural Sciences. Quote around that. I know, huh? I put a quote around it because I could say I used to work there. I used to work at the University of Florida Institute of Food and Agricultural Sciences. Notice I don't say the University of Florida Food and Agricultural Sciences. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I stay flat because that's the name. And
Gotcha.
then usually like on the last word of it. So I would only say University of Florida Food and Agricultural if I was contrasting it with perhaps the University of Georgia. mentioning that before, but we're not doing that here. Our entity is Tennessee Pride Country Sausage. Okay. Mm-hmm. So you can put that in quotes. And so you don't want to emphasize Tennessee or pride or country or sausage. Okay. You would emphasize sausage a little bit more, but Tennessee Pride Country Sausage. Everything has an equal emphasis there. Does that make sense?
Absolutely.
Okay. So you don't want to pause after smell either. You said, and the smell of Tennessee Pride Country Sausage. And you also stopped after country. Tennessee Pride Country Sausage.
Yeah. That was because I didn't take enough air.
Okay. Here's the golden rule. You don't stop to breathe. You breathe when you stop.
Yeah.
And you put a lot of phrasing in so you have places to stop so you don't run out of air.
Fair enough.
Running out of air.
Yeah.
Okay. And that you did the same thing in water the sage they use in the sausage.
Mm-hmm.
So water the sage they use in the sausage.
Fair enough.
Okay.
I like that.
All right.
Yeah.
Very, very good job, Lynn. And we're not going to do the second script, the departure roulette script, because I can't get it back on the screen.
Oh, boo-hiss.
These are the two we're going to do. All right, let's move on. We're actually out of time, but we're going to keep going anyway. The free.
Thank you.
Oh, thank you, Lynn, and thank you, Trey, and John, who tried to get on. The free resources that we have available, there are many free resources all over the internet. You'll find lots of podcasts like my Voiceover Insider podcasts. If you want to learn about the industry, listen to hours and hours and hours of my past podcasts. We've had about 70,000 listens on it. VoiceOverInsider.com. Click on podcasts. The one that will be up shortly, if it's not up already, is Celia Siegel talking about voiceover branding. And we've got like every topic you can possibly imagine already in our past podcasts. They're fabulous. And all of a sudden this is going back. I don't want to click here, but I'm going to have to. Hold on. I'm afraid it's going to start her video again. Okay. Down one more. All right, here we go. And down one more. That took like 10 minutes to be able to go back where I told it to go. Anyway, listen to the podcasts. And coming up, we've got a podcast talking to a handful of experts about how to avoid a predatory coach or company. And then we've got another one coming up about e-learning with Carrie Olson, who is used to be an e-learning producer. She's a coach, and she and I, in fact, have a webinar coming up, a 3-day webinar coming up in May that we'll send out information about. But soon I'm going to have a podcast with her. There's just tons and tons. We've got podcasts on audiobooks and how to get into audiobooks and how to get an agent, and podcasts on video games and everything voiceover. We have podcasts on. My free resource email packet with literally hundreds of voiceover articles and resources. For that, you need to email me, julie@voice-overs.com, so I can send it to you. It's a zip file. Voiceover Insider's been around for about 12 years, and it used to be, I don't have time for this anymore, but it used to be a 40-page magazine every month with tons of articles in every issue, written by lots and lots of experts. And I have several back issues, plus some articles I've written, lots of things in that resource package. My Voiceover Insider online magazine for the industry, the one 12 years old, just go to voiceoverinsider.com, the same place that you would go to for the podcasts. There's a lot of very helpful articles on there. Now, it's outdated. A lot of the, I'm not saying that the information is outdated, but it's not new, okay? And I'm transitioning to have it be more of the podcast site, because I just no longer have time to make it a magazine anymore. So, but go ahead there and then click on sign up so that you'll get my email blasts, and you'll know about all the things that are going on, when the free podcasts are coming up, when we have webinars and other things, Larry Hudson's classes and other things that are relevant to send information out about. And then many of you may be part of this, because I think a lot of you found out about this webinar there, but join our VoiceOver Insider Connect Facebook group, because that is a group where we can support each other, have a positive atmosphere, ask questions. You know, somebody today I just bought a such and such microphone. and it sounds like this. Can somebody help me? That type thing. To what kind of sound booth do you guys like? All sorts of things that are on there, and you can keep up with everything I'm doing there, because even before I send out the email blasts, I usually announce things ahead of time, kind of a save the date before even all the information is together on that Voiceover Insider Connect Facebook group. The only thing we'll ask you 2 questions when you go to sign up, because it is a private group, and we'll ask you, number 1, are you in voiceovers? Even if you're a wannabe and you haven't done anything yet, you are in voiceovers. You count. And the second one is that you do understand that you're not to promote anything. You don't promote your services in any way. You don't promote anything. You don't promote your podcasts. You don't promote other people's. This is not about promoting yourself. Okay. And then we will automatically let you in. But there are some people who try to get in. They don't answer the questions, and I look at their groups that they're a part of on Facebook, and it has nothing to do with voiceover at all, so they're not allowed in. And the minute somebody posts something promotional, they're automatically kicked out. So we want to keep things really helpful, free, and of course I also mentioned when my programs are coming up too, and the free items that are coming up. So Voiceover Insider Connect Facebook group, if you don't do anything else, go there, get on there tonight. We approve you as soon as we can. And then when you're on there, all of these other things you can request and find out about, like I'll mention when the podcasts are on that group as well. Okay, now I have to move something right here and hope it goes. I can't read. I can't. They're going through the wheel of what. Okay, I think this says about Julie's coaching, but there's a menu bar in front of it that won't go away. When I coach somebody, I use a full immersion technique. In other words, I dump you in the deep end, but I've got the lifeline right there. So that's like when I mentioned before, you record every session. And you refer back to it every single week. I'm like, for example, I say, did you listen back to your homework? No, I didn't have time. Okay, talk to you next week. You see what I mean? You've got to be prepared for the lessons, or you're not going to progress. I've realized that students tend to learn 3 times faster when I do the deep end, dumping you in the deep end technique, as opposed to a stair-step type coaching technique that I used to teach. And you will not get, on our first lesson, you will not get it all. But we do the same techniques over and over and introduce new ones as well. And you will get it eventually. And you'll learn it faster, as if you were going into a foreign country to learn the language by living there. I've got dozens of students to send references from, including those whose demos you heard on this webinar. I can get contact information from any of those. I consider myself a voiceover life coach because I guide you in all areas of your voiceover life, performance, bringing out your uniqueness, the golden tools, marketing. Just did a great marketing session with Leisha Saunders today. It was awesome. She is probably not on here today, but she might be. She does have some experience. And then I do charge on the lower end of the scale for demos. I believe it's $1,700, which is the lowest end. But don't let that scare you away, because you've heard the quality of my demos that I produce. And I've got a Grammy-winning producer who does the demo production, but I do the coaching through it. I do the copy selection and writing, etc. And if I'm not the right coach for what you want to learn, for what your goals are, I refer you to somebody who I can personally vouch for. So don't take chances with coaching. There's just too much at stake to take chances with things like your coaching and your demo, because those are vital. Okay, my coaching and demo prices, I charge $600 for 5 coaching hours, and they're 50 minutes each. $1,000 for 10 coaching hours, which are also 50 minutes each. We typically coach weekly. We do it by Zoom, and we don't do it by video, though. We do it by audio, because when you are on a coaching session, on a voiceover session with a client, a directed session, they would call it, you're not on camera, and you don't want that distraction. And I don't want that distraction when I'm trying to pay attention to critiquing you with my dry erase markers. See, I use them also, the dry erase marker and the sheet protector. Otherwise, by the time we got to the bottom of the script that you're reading, I won't remember what you did on the first line. But this way I can remember everything. I had 4 openings starting next week and 1 opening in early May. I now have let's see. I have 5 openings starting next week and 4 openings starting in early May, because what I did is I opened up another half day because I'm getting so many people for coaching. So now I'm coaching on Tuesday mornings and Wednesdays and Thursdays. So I do have a handful of openings. Now, if 10 people wanted to start coaching right away, we might start to have a little bit of a problem. But, you know, right now I can take you on, probably, because it just depends on how many people respond. My demo prices are $1,700 for the first one, for 2, 300, $3,000 for 3 demos, and 4 demos are $3,600. So the price really is coming down a lot when you do a number of demos. So that's something to consider as an investment, because a demo is an investment, not an expense. Investments are the things that make you money, like your coaching for technique and your demos, which are your primary marketing tool. It's a very, very good thing to consider investing in 4 demos if you want to work in 4 different genres: narration, medical narration, commercials, audiobooks, whatever it is that you want to work in. And then for any of these demos that you want the video demo made, like we did for Karen and we did for me, that's $400 extra when I produce your demo. The demos have to all be booked at one time. In LA, demos typically average $1,800 to $3,000 each. And most coaches and producers don't even give discounts for subsequent demos. I don't know of any that do, but that doesn't mean none do, because I'm not a know-all and end-all and be-all or whatever person who knows everything. Okay, my proven techniques for voiceover success is hours, somewhere between 4 and 6 hours, I think, of coaching from a live workshop that I did in Seattle a 1.5 years ago. And I've got that on sale for you guys for $75. It's normally $100. And this is a promo code just for you, okay? It's available in both electronic format or CD format if you want me to send you a CD. Regularly $100. You'll only pay $75. You save $25. 2 things. You have to order it by the end of the month, April 30th, 2018. I say that because this video will be online and people in 10 years might be watching it, right? And you can get that by either emailing me, julie@voice-overs.com, with the promo code proven techniques for voiceover success. Or when Janice, my assistant, sends out a link to this video, so you'll have your own copy, you can download it, and for people who also are going to be watching it later. She's also going to send you a link where you can directly go to PayPal, pay it right then and there, and then she will send the link for you to download out, or she will mail you by snail mail if you want the 4 CD set of proven techniques for voiceover success. So I think that's everything I've got here. Yeah, all of a sudden everything went away. So let me see if I can unshare my screen here, and then we can just talk for a minute. It's not really happening. Oh, here we go. Unshare screen. It's sharing it. Okay. All right, Don. So we're sharing the screen forever and ever. Let's take. I'm sorry, Don. Say it again.
I said it's looking that way.
Well, technology, you gotta love it, and I really do love it. I just don't like it when things go wrong. But we've already gone 15 minutes over, so let's just take 3 questions. So if you have a question, Don, were there maybe some questions in the chat box that you recommend we take?
Yeah, there's one right here. Actually, let me find it here. Just in case, will Skype work for in the future for meetings if he decides to work with you as a coach, if he can't use Zoom?
I hate Skype. I
Okay.
used to use it all the time, and I can use it, but I really, really don't like Skype. It's very unreliable. And with Skype, they don't let you record it. With Zoom, you can, I have to approve your recording, but you can record everything we do by Zoom, and it will automatically, you're recording it on your computer, and once we get out of the session, it'll automatically render it, and you'll have the audio right there. Whereas with Skype, you have to buy a Skype recording program in order to do it. I guess they just don't want you to be able to record for free. I don't know. Maybe if you have like some sort of an upgraded, not free membership, then maybe you can. And maybe that's it. I have a paid membership here on Zoom, and it's for being able to do webinars, and it's for being able to do meetings, because the free one you can only be on for, I think, 20 minutes or 40 minutes, and then it cuts you off. But it's much, much better to be able to record on Zoom. And to have Zoom, all you have to do, you don't have to download any programs. I start the session and I copy a link and I email you that link. And so all you're going to have to do is click on that link, and then it might download something to your computer the first time, but you click on the link and automatically you're going to be connected to me. And it will be by audio, not video, but you'll know, and we can start talking right then. And in the email that I send you, the package, when you start working with me, I send you a welcome packet, and it's got scripts and it's got lots of information, like to get the dry erase markers and all that, and information about my coaching. And it will also include a little Zoom tutorial link, a video to a Zoom tutorial, which you're really not going to need, but you can go to. And it will also include the Zoom support link if you ever have trouble. Like, for example, you can't seem to log on for some reason. Then you're on, but your microphone just won't work. We can get a hold of Zoom and they help you troubleshoot why that's the case. So I always prefer Zoom. If I absolutely have to, I will do Skype.
Okay.
To make a short story long, right?
Next question is, it says, once we have a demo, do you recommend pay-to-plays? If so, which ones? Well, we're not going to produce or really promote any of them, are we?
No, I am not on any pay-to-plays. And there are reasons for that. One pay-to-play has some policies, what policies isn't the word I'm thinking of, but they have some practices that I consider unethical. Another pay-to-play, you pay for the membership, but you have to kind of win the lottery. You're not given every single audition that you're qualified for. You know, you have to first pay and then get lucky, and it's like you pay to get the membership, and then a certain percentage of the ones that you're right for, they might send you, and then they send 50 out to get 25 for the client, and then you're one of the 50, but if you're not one of the first 25 to submit, then you can't get in. So it's kind of like first it's a lottery and then it's a race, and it's inherently set up where the lesser talents are going to be able to submit and the more seasoned aren't, because I don't have time. If you're ready to sit by your computer the whole time and immediately respond as an email for a lead comes in, well, you might get in, but I'm in the studio recording something, and then I'm going to come out and I'm going to edit my audition or my job or send it to an editor. Then I'm going to look for other auditions, and then I'm going to go to submit that, But if you have time to do nothing but sit and watch the pay-to-play, then that might be a good place for you. Then there's another one that is based in Germany. It's a very, very good site. But I've really found that so many more people are on it now that it's really not as good a site, as profitable a site for me. So my subscription just ended, and I'm not going back on that again. And those are the three pay-to-plays that I can think of, the ones I haven't named. But whatever other ones are out there, I'm not on any pay-to-play sites at all. It's your own marketing that is really what's going to, if you have to depend on pay-to-play, it's going to be really tough. It's a different industry than it used to be. You're going to be competing against hundreds of people for each job, and you're better off to get your demo and work out a marketing plan with your coach. They need to help you market yourself, because how you market yourself is going to vary, whether it's audiobooks you're wanting to do, or commercials, or narrations, or medical narration. These have different target clients. So, it might be an agent, it might be a studio, it might be a pharmaceutical company, might be an audiobook publisher. It's different marketing for different places. So that's my take on marketing and pay-to-play.
Okay, so we had a couple here that asked about, where do you produce your demos? I mean, Do you do it? Do they in their own booth, or do you send them somewhere?
Okay, when I'm producing your demo, if you have, one of the things that I'm going to start doing, we've had some delays on demos because of studios, so I'm changing the system where I'm going to start having people, once I start working with you, the homework on your first session is going to be to send me 60 seconds of audio from your booth, which includes your noise floor, which I'll explain at that time, and also you recording, so I can hear the quality of you recording and the sound. And if it's not up to par, I send you to somebody to help you get your studio up to par while we're still working together. So when it's time for the demo, it's ready. But if you don't have a studio that's up to par, then you can rent a studio, but we do it by phone or by Zoom. I mean, I will critique you through the internet, and you'll be recording where you are, either at a studio that you're paying or in your own studio. And then I get sent the files and I do the editing. I take like the different takes that you do for each spot, and I edit it together for what parts I want into one entity. And then I do that for all of the different segments. And then I send it along to post-production, telling them what music, what sound effects, what order I want everything in. And then they fix any glitches in the audio or whatever. And then it goes back and forth. They send a demo back. I just had a demo sent back to me, sent to me the first one yesterday, and I said, I don't like the music in the second cut. It's way too repetitive, and the segment is long enough that it's over and over and over. So he changed the music, and it sounds great now. So now, version 2, I sent along to the talent, because I think version 2 is viable. Now, he might listen to it and say, I really hate that burp at the end, or, you know what I mean, whatever it is. He might say he wants something changed. And so then I go back to the producer and I say, this needs to be changed. You are involved in every step of the way when it comes to demo production. I felt so bad. I have a student who had a demo produced by a lady who basically recorded her, produced the demo, and handed it to her. This is your demo. And she had no input in it. And she wanted something changed, and the demo producer was offended that she wanted to change. You can't do that. You've got to trust the coach, but you've also got to have the coach work with you for what you need and what you want. I don't want you to send out your demo and not feel comfortable with the way it is and wishing that it had been a little different, or that one cut wasn't actually in there because you don't like how it sounded, or that this one in the end was actually at the front, whatever, all those things we talk about. And until you sign off, hey, this is perfect, it can be changed anytime. So that's what I mean when I say, we've worked together on it. It's a team effort. So definitely a collaborative effort through the whole thing in the voiceover demos. Did I over answer that?
No, that was fine. Hey, we got a couple questions going on. They're asking about specific DAWs. I think we're going to skip over those because, I mean, it's really opinionated. That could be really.
Yeah. Okay. So for that, go to the Voiceover forum on Facebook, Voiceover Insider Connect forum, because a lot of people will give you lots of information about the specific DAWs. Yeah. I don't really know about all of them. I've used Pro Tools. They say it's like taking a jet to the grocery store. It is. I got rid of Pro Tools. It doesn't play well with anything else, so I got rid of it. And then, Twisted Wave I've used, Audacity I've used, Reaper I don't like, but I've used. There are just a lot of, there's Adobe Audition, and some of these go with both Mac and PC, and some may not go with both. So if you go to the forum and you ask questions there, that forum is not just beginners that are there. And we've got people like Doug Turkel, an incredible talent from the Miami area on there. We have branding expert Celia Siegel on there. We have a lot of people. Larry Hudson, I believe, is on there, who is very, very good at. He teaches Audacity and Audition, and just a whole lot of people that do a whole lot of stuff. If you have a microphone question, check with your coach too. If you're talking about buying one, but if you have a question with something technical, you're having an issue, then go ahead and get on that forum and ask, and a bunch of people will answer that use it or don't use it, and whether they like it or not.
This one here pertains to a little bit of a predator ones, predatory coaches. Kyle asked, there seems to be a number of VO companies that have weekend workshops and do demos after. They can be predatory, right?
That was one of the first things, and I don't know anybody specifically right now that does that. I mean, they might do a weekend workshop and then train you and do demos. I know some people that do that, but I have heard about people, and years ago I knew people that did that, the weekend workshop, and either they produce a demo for you and everybody gets their demo. I mean, not everybody's ready for the demo. They either produce a demo right after, or they give you the audio of your practicing in the demo, and I mean practicing in the workshop, and consider that a demo, which it absolutely is not. So I don't even give people a copy of their practice sessions in a workshop. There's no need for it. You know, that's not what you need. You don't need to listen to how you did wrong. You know, I mean, you can listen back to stuff, but why do you need these cuts of your reads? They're bad cuts, you know. Get the good ones. Any other questions?
Yeah, just a little more on that too, on the workshops. If you're brand new, man, there's no way. If you're brand new, you're going to need more than a weekend to cut a demo after. It'll take it really depends on the person, I think, anyways.
It does, because I did have, like I said, I did have one newbie who is a doctor and wanted to get into medical narration. Well, just because you're a doctor doesn't mean you're good at medical narration. But it only took 3 sessions. The first 2 sessions, she was like a newbie. And all of a sudden, something happened between that second and third session. It was, light bulb went off, and all of a sudden she was amazing. And I scheduled her demo right then and there. And then we took the remaining sessions. And this is another thing. You buy 10 sessions to get the lower rate, and then you're ready for a demo after 7. We do the demo after 7, and we take those other 3 and we start working on marketing after the fact, because that's another thing that you really have to work on. That having the demo isn't good enough. You can have an incredible demo that your mother would love for a Christmas present, but if nobody knows about you, it doesn't matter how good you are. Someone next door who's not as good as you is going to get the job because they know about them.
Okay, the last one here, we talked a couple about, we talked about the different DAWs. Okay, the last one here, Lazarus was asking, how do you figure out what genre of voice is good for? Will you kind of encourage them into the direction they should go?
I will encourage them into the direction they're good at if they like doing it. For example, you could be great at doing audiobooks, but if you don't like spending hours on end in the studio, then for really not as much money as other genres pay, although it can be lucrative for you, people make good money in audiobooks, then I wouldn't want you to do audiobooks even if you're good at it. I stopped doing audiobooks for a while. My very first book, I was nominated for an Audie. You know, I did about 17 books, just 18 now. I just finished one. And I stopped doing them for a while because they didn't pay well. But now I just thought, Sean Pratt told me, he goes, you know what? He says he spends a couple of hours a day. He's done over 950 books. He's approaching 1,000. And he spends a couple of hours a day voicing, gets about a book a week done. And then, you know, that's kind of like money that you always have coming in, because once people like you, you get book after book after book. And so then you work on your other stuff, but there's always that base income coming in. It's almost like having a day job. And, you know, that's a good foundational thing. So I might start doing it again, because you just never know when you're going to have a bad month, right? And I can take an hour or 2 hours a day, and, you know, I don't have to do as many books as he's doing. I could do maybe 1 a month, but I just had stopped it because it was so much work. But if you're good at it, you know, you might want to do it, or you might not. But if you're good at long form, I might encourage you to get into narration. But if you're incredible at narration, you could probably do medical narration. But if you hate it because of all the terminology, maybe you feel like medical is boring, whatever, if you don't like medical, then I'm not going to encourage you to get into it. So basically, I'm going to encourage you to follow your dreams. And what you love doing typically is going to be what you're good at. And what you're good at, you're typically going to learn to love doing. But you might absolutely hate something. And so I wouldn't want you to do that. And if you just love something, but I think yeah, you're probably not going to make it in that. I probably would. Well, I'm never going to tell you can't do it. I'm never going to smash your dream. Okay. But what I will do is let you know if it is going to take you a lot more training and a lot more money to become competitive in this particular genre than it will other people, than it will most people, or that, you know, it's going to take a whole lot more training before you're ready to do a demo. And so you need to decide if you want this bad enough to invest all that time and all that money to become a possibly working mediocre talent. Because some people just don't have the gift that is going to let them soar. That doesn't mean that they can't make money on skill alone, and it doesn't mean that they can't become skilled over a long period of time. But they have choices to make. And then if I feel like a student really isn't progressing with me, then I'm not going to say, get out of it, I can't help you. Well, what I'm going to do is I'm going to say, well, maybe this other coach can help you get to where you want to go better than I can. And I'll contact that other coach and maybe refer you over to them. And then it's your choice if you're going to go to that other coach or not. And it would be a coach who I approve of in that particular genre that I think is going to do right by you. Now, if you're wanting to do, see, I don't do animation. I don't do video games. I do accents and dialects. So if I listen to your animation demo, I'm not going to say whether it's good or bad. I'm not going to have that talk with you. I'm going to say, who does animation is this person over here. Or, who does accents and dialects is this lady over here. Who does audiobooks, I recommend this person, and that person who does marketing, I'll send you over here. If I'm not able to help you with the marketing. You see what I mean? I'll refer you to other people, but I will never tell anybody don't do it. Did I, again, over-explain and make a short story long?
Nope, you did good. Did good.
I do tend to do that. All right, if there's one more, I'll take one more question.
No, that was it. That was it. Unless somebody has one.
What's that, Don?
Unless somebody has one real quick before the end, but I don't see anything.
Yeah, we have already gone over 2 hours. So I want to thank you guys very much for sticking with us. 2/3 of the people that signed on at the beginning, 2 hours later, are still with us. So that's pretty awesome. And be sure, whatever else you do, be sure you get onto the a Voiceover Insider Connect Facebook groups. We can all connect together and you'll know what's going on. And then check your email. Now, the video of this, we have to put it in post-production. So it often takes about a week sometimes to get the video link to you so that you can download the video. So give us time to get it done. But once it's done, because you've registered, you will automatically be on Janice's list to send the link to download the video and to send the link to go and get Proven Techniques for Voiceover Success. If you want to get Proven Techniques for Voiceover Success before you get the video, then just email me, julie@voice-overs.com. Tell me the promo code PROVEN, and I will go ahead and send that along to her so she can manually approve it, and I'll send you to PayPal to go ahead and make the payment at the julie@voice-overs.com address. Okay? Thank you so much for joining us. And, we have a medical narration webinar coming up on Monday night, and then we're going to be doing the e-learning 3-day webinar, 3-night webinar in May. And all of that information you can find out more about either by emailing me or going to, again, that Facebook Connect group at on Facebook, Voiceover Insider Connect.